Hey VC, Erik the Viking here again. I'm just putting one video up tonight. Basically, I put my jazz video up recently. Thanks everyone who's been watching it and commenting and everything. Been some really cool things people have said about my collection, which is really nice to hear. Fatback Funk Dave requested that I put up a Sun Ra video, so here it is. So I showed I think 2 of the videos in my other jazz videos. So yeah. Sun Ra, where do I begin? Big fan of Sun Ra. Haven't got an awful lot of his stuff because they're so hard to find. I haven't got any of the original Saturn pressings or anything like that. But I have got some decent stuff, which I will show you now. Right, so these are in pretty much chronological order. I've got the Volume 2 of Hyperion Worlds. This is the English pressing on Fontana. Obviously in the States it was on ESP. Look at that picture. Yeah, the heliocentric albums are very sparse and pretty crazy, sort of from the same period as Magic City and all that sort of stuff. Lovely label though. So that's a really nice one. I don't have Volume 1 unfortunately. And the interesting thing is, you see what's written there, someone's written £140. I got it for £1, so I don't know how that came about. Unless it's going to be £1.40, not sure. Anyway, that's that. Got a original pressing of Solar Myth Approach Volume 1 on the BYG Actuel label. As always with the Actuel stuff, you've got great pictures and everything like that. And I've got Volume 2 as well. These 2 albums are brilliant. Just sort of a collection of a mix of live stuff, and I think basically Ra just gave the label a load of tapes and said, "Here, use these," and that was basically how these albums came about. I think. Could be wrong. So that's cool. What's that? Got another French one here as well on the Chandar label. Doesn't sound like a French name, but it is. These are the Fondation Mate Nights, or the Nuit de la Fondation Mate, I think I'm saying it right. This is Volume 1, don't have Volume 2 again. I don't know if these are sort of in connection with the BYG albums, but they're quite similar in the way they've got some really cool live pictures on them. And this has got a really nice label too. You can see that? Chandar. So I don't have Volume 2 of this. This is from 1970. That's quite a nice one. The first Sun Ra album I ever got was Pictures of Infinity. This was actually one of the first Ra albums I ever heard. It does kind of throw you in the deep end. It's a live album and it's pretty out there. It's pretty good too. This is the first English pressing on Polydor, which doesn't really turn up that often. In the States it was on Black Lion, it's got the logo there. And of course you all know what the Polydor label looks like. So that's that. Next is Space is the Place, one of my favourite albums ever. I showed this in the jazz video I think. It's the original pressing on Blue Thumb. This album just is insane. It's also a quad press. I think this was only pressed as a quad pressing, but it's one that you can play on any deck. So that's lovely. It took me a while to get hold of one of these. They do show up quite often, but not so much in this country. I had to get this from the States. That's a really nice copy. What you're listening to now, Atlantis. I think this was the first Ra album I ever heard. Wasn't what I was expecting at all, of course. As you can hear, the first half of the album is just percussion and clavinet and sax. Pretty primitive sort of funky grooves. I mean, this came out in '68 originally, the Saturn pressing. This is the Impulse pressing. I do like these Impulse ones. They're completely different sleeve designs, but they always used really nice photos. And this is 1973, and I think I showed this on the other video as well. But I'll show it again because Derek liked it. White label Impulse, really nice. I've had this for a very long time now. The second half of Atlantis still continues to scare the hell out of me. It's very hard to listen to. 21 minutes, most of it's a crazy keyboard workout, and I think that is the actual keyboard, which was called a Kalamazoo, which was made by Yamaha. Don Preston, who's in Zappa's Mothers of Invention, plays that a lot on the Uncle Meat album, for all you keyboard freaks out there. So yeah, that's that. Another Impulse album. Again, this is part of the reissue series from the Saturn stuff. Angels and Demons at Play, again with a completely different sleeve. Really interesting sort of design. And a really nice photo overall there. Really nice album, quite a short album. I think it's only about 25 minutes long, and it's mainly 1959 and 1960 recordings, I think. No, 55 to 57, so it's pretty early stuff. Really good though, really good. The only other Impulse one I have is Supersonic Sounds, which was his second album. The first album he made on Saturn, which at the time was called Supersonic Jazz. So it's a slightly different title, but it's the same album. And I still can't believe this is from 1955, the original album. I mean, this is from 73, but the music just does not sound that old. It just sounds like it's from... It could sound almost new. I mean, even the sound quality is really good on them. And I love that Impulse logo. Slightly later design. So yeah, this is again a really nice one to have. So there's quite a lot of stuff I don't have on Impulse. When I first started buying Sunra, you could get them fairly cheap, but they're all sort of getting a bit harder to get now. That was quite a while ago. So Cosmos, which is another brilliant album on the Inner City label, 1977. Really good session, really funky stuff. Ra's got some crazy keyboard work going on there, and it's on a lovely label. That's a really good album. I'm trying to put it back in the sleeve now. Yeah, there's some really good tracks on here though. Moonship Journey's one that always sticks out for me. I really like the fact it's a really nice track, but it's got they do all the sort of chants and that. Love all that kind of stuff. Also on Inner City, I've got Live at Montreal. Again, yeah, these two albums are quite easy to find, and couldn't recommend them enough. These albums are great. This is a great glimpse into Sun Ra live. I mean, apparently live. I've seen the orchestra live last year at the festival in London, and I also saw Faust the same day, which was incredible. And they've still got I mean, Marshall Allen's still playing with the orchestra, and he's in his 80s, which is incredible. And they're still insane. It's like, you see them live, it's almost like Sun Ra's still there. It's really good. Just live, completely, just full of energy, and it's very emotional stuff. Really good. Strange Celestial Road. So obviously I don't have Languidity. Been off that for a long time. This is from pretty much the same time, session-wise. I think this was recorded around 78. It's got a really funky vibe to it. Really good album, really nice album. And this is, I think I showed this on that other video as well. This is on the Y label, which was manufactured by Rough Trade, which mainly dealt in the more experimental stuff. A lot of post-punk and no-wave was on this label too. 1980 this is, and this is a mint copy. It was sealed when I bought it actually. As you know, if you watch my videos, if the records are sealed, I open them because I listen to them, and obviously the shrink wrap has disappeared at some point, but that's a nice one. Also on the Y label, this is probably one of the rarer ones I own. This seems to go for a crazy amount of money now. The original 12-inch single of Nuclear War. Y had the guts to put this out as a 12-inch. This was the only format this track came out as in England. I think the album Nuclear War only came out in Italy, and in the States it was on an album called A Fireside Chat with Lucifer, one of the Saturn albums, which is very rare. But basically, Nuclear War is almost like a prototype sort of hip hop track, if you can imagine. It's just got Ra playing piano with keyboard, with drums on it, and just saying nuclear war, it's a motherfucker. It's brilliant. And on the B side, it's got Sometimes I'm Happy, which is a really nice track sung by June Tyson. Rest in peace. June Tyson was a brilliant vocalist. So yeah, that's that. Really, really proud to have one of those. And the last few I've got are recent reissues of some of the Saturn albums that are on the Art Yard label, a label which is based in London, I actually met the owner a few times. He used to, when I used to work in the record shop in London, he used to come in quite a bit and give us some of his albums to sell on, you know. And you know, these are all becoming quite hard to find, even these now. And they're very nice reissues. They're all on 180 gram vinyl, really well put together. I'd recommend them because, you know, the satin pressings are notoriously pretty bad, and I know they're beautiful. You know, like I say, I don't have any. I know they're lovely, but you could save a lot of money. This is why I've got these for now. So this is Disco 3000, which, until it was reissued on this label, was probably one of the most obscure RAR releases. It is crazy. It was live in Italy in 1978, and it was obviously RAR was always miles ahead in terms of keyboards and technology, and he's playing a keyboard on this called the Krumar Main Man. Apparently there was only 10 made, and it basically was one of the very early keyboards that had a built-in drum machine and rhythm programmer, so there's loads of crazy stuff like that on this album. It's just him, John Gilmore, Michael Ray and Look Manelli in the lineup. So, but you wouldn't think, you'd think they're all there with the sounds he's getting out of the keyboard. It's really good. So that was the first released on Art Yard, which I think came out in 2005, yeah, so that's worth getting if you can still find it. The second release which I have is Media Dreams, which is also from the same gig, so it sort of goes hand in hand with it, with Disco 3000 really. Just as crazy, and I think that is, no, that's not the keyboard there, but still, great, like I say, these have always got brilliant photos. Actually, you know what, I did forget. I forgot to show you. Yeah, oh no, I did show you that. Sorry, no. Yeah, they've always got really good photos, like the inner sleeves here. Got a really nice photo of Ra just sitting on his doorstep with some crazy sort of headphones on there, and John Gilmore relaxing. This was a house where they all lived in Philadelphia. 1979 they were taken, and the Art Yard labels are pretty trippy themselves. Look at that design, crazy. So yeah, that's that. I think quite a few more have come out since I bought these. I need to catch up on them before they become out of print. The last one I've got on Art Yard, which is one of my favourite RAR albums, I think this was recorded around the same time as Languidity 2, Sleeping Beauty. This album is just beautiful. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's got this, you know, got the sort of funky influence, but it's very mellow and chilled out. The track Sleeping Beauty itself is just incredible. When I first heard it, I just couldn't stop listening to it for a very long time. And it's brilliant. And you know, I think before this, well, this is probably, I'd say it's one of the most desirable albums on Saturn, definitely. And I think it was one of the ones that was pressed in very. I think that his late 70s albums were pressed in smaller quantities than the 60s ones. So some of them don't even have sleeves, you know. So yeah. So that's my Sun Ra collection. Like I say, pretty small, but I have heard a lot of his. I've heard about 100 of his albums. Got a lot of them on CD and stuff. But obviously, realistically, unless I've got a shitload of money, I'm not going to get some of the Saturn pressings. That's just the way it is. But I could happily see myself paying quite a bit for a nice copy of Languidity. But you very rarely see nice ones as the sleeve, just because of the mirror sort of effect, just wears out so easily. Anyway, it'd be nice to get your comments. Like I say, it's a lot shorter than my previous videos that I've been putting up recently. I'll be back to, well, the time here in England is 9:20. It's been quite an odd day weather-wise, on and off, rain and sunshine. Yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. Not sure what I'm posting up yet tomorrow, but it'll be a surprise. Thanks for watching VC. Speak soon.